Okay, good morning. That sounds strange to say ahead of an Ipswich Town football match, but it's only 11:15 in the morning and we're 45 minutes away from Ipswich Town's opening home game of the 2025-26 season, back in the Championship, but against familiar opposition in Southampton. So many dramatic games against the Saints over the last two seasons, of course. Did the double over them in the Championship promotion season, 1-0 at St Mary's with that Amari Hutchinson tackle finish, and then that 3-2 win that will forever live in the memory here at Portman Road on Easter Monday. Jeremy Sarmiento right at the death then. In the Premier League, Sam Morsey, stoppage time equaliser down at their place early in the season, and then that really disappointing 2-1 defeat to the Saints in early February that really was the final nail in the coffin for Ipswich's relegation. Both sides went down in 19th and 20th respectively, and both are among the early season promotion favourites back in the Championship. Southampton have started the better. They needed two very, very late goals to beat Wrexham at home on the opening day, both coming in stoppage time. A comeback 2-1 win, and then they much changed side, won 1-0 at Northampton in the League Cup in midweek. Ipswich, slightly different. Were nowhere near their best at Birmingham, as we know, managed to snatch a point through that George Hurst penalty, and then out of the League Cup at Bromley in midweek on penalties. Right. Got a few of you starting to join me now, so I'll run you through the team news today. It is... Let me have a little look for you. I'm just going to make sure I've got the team here for you. So, one change from Birmingham. One change from Birmingham, thank you. Just wanted to double check with that. And the one change is Jayden Philogene, fit again, picked up an ankle injury. He was having a good pre-season, was Jayden Philogene. Was very impressed with him up at Aberdeen, scored 2 goals. His overall performance was much better. He looked far more effective on the left in pre-season. Then he went and got an ankle injury in the final warm-up game over in France against Auxerre. Hasn't featured so far, but he goes straight back into the starting lineup today, and it looks like he's going to be on the left-hand side. The man he replaces is Chio Ogbene, who remarkably started 2 games in the space of 5 days, was it? Off the back of a 9-month layoff with an Achilles injury. So that's the one change from the Birmingham team. The Ipswich starting lineup is as follows. In goal, Alex Palmer. At right back, Ben Johnson, who wasn't great at Birmingham and then was excellent off the bench against Bromley in the left back position, but he's right back again today. Centre halves, O'Shea and Greaves. I think we'll be saying that a lot this season, hopefully. Leif Davis at left back. Azor Matasiwa recovers from the tight groin that kept him out in midweek to return in midfield, and it's Jack Taylor alongside him. And it looks like, as I've mentioned already, Jack Clark on the right wing. He's been a left winger throughout his career, really. Someone who loves to drift inside and get shots off on his favoured right foot. Hasn't happened for him at the start of this season so far. Very ineffective against Birmingham and Bromley. Philogene's return to the team. Looks like Jack Clark will be trialled on the right-hand side today. They tried it a few times in pre-season. Wasn't convinced by it. I think Philogene's more effective on the left. I don't think Jack Clark is as effective on the right, so we'll see how that goes today. The logic, I guess, with Jack Clark is he can stay high and right and be a bit of a cheap player. He can play it in the Wes Burns mode. Don't worry too much about defending. Just get the ball, take your man on, make something happen. Maybe some cutbacks into the box, which we saw a little bit of in pre-season. So we'll see how that goes. Smodic's in his favoured number 10 slot. Philogene, as I mentioned, on the left. Liked him there in the Aberdeen pre-season game. And George Hurst up top, as expected. The Ipswich Town bench. Walton, 2 centre-halves in Waltenden and Keepray. Piyusta, he's on the bench for the first time since returning on loan from Napoli. He's had absolutely no pre-season, no game time for Napoli. Don't think he's really had any sort of training time as well. But he is amongst the subs today. Obviously, he knows a lot of these teammates from last season. Cameron Humphreys, who I thought had a good game against Bromley. Ashley Young, who I thought might start at right back today. I thought he was one of Ipswich's better players at Bromley in midweek, but he's amongst the subs. Young Leon Ayinde, young Irish versatile attacker on the bench. Ogbene and Chaplin. No striker on the bench for Ipswich Town today. Chuba Akpom on loan from Ajax, another one who hasn't had much of a pre-season, not deemed ready enough to be in the matchday squad, and no Ali Al-Hamadi either. So we'll find out a bit more about that post-match. The Bromley game felt like that was a step towards him maybe leaving the club either permanently or on loan, didn't it? But no striker amongst the substitutes today. Let's take a few of your comments and questions. This one from Sammy on Jack Clark. Jack Clark on the right will suit him more, hugging the touchline, allowing him to express himself. I very much hope that will be the case, Sammy. And as I say, I can see the logic. I think when he plays on the left, him and Leif Davis end up wanting to occupy similar positions, don't they? Leif wants to get up and down that left-hand side. Jack Clark wants to stay wide, certainly in the first instance, and they can end up getting in each other's way. Jack spoke, I think, around the autumn time last year in a press conference about how the role was very different, that Kieran McKenna was asking him to play as sort of the inside left forward. It was very, very different to the kind of paint on your boots luxury left winger that Sunderland had him starring in the Championship. So maybe a switch to the right could do him some good. He certainly could do with a big performance today, Jack Clark. Chris here, hope for a good game and 3 points. Let's see what happens today. What else have we got? Some transfer-related stuff. Joby 1. Thoughts on the Sindre Egeli transfer link? Looks like a quality replacement for Hutchinson. Don't know much about him. This is the young Norwegian, 19. Report last night from a seemingly reputable Norwegian journalist that Ipswich are in a fairly advanced stage of negotiations over, remind me the fee, Alex, around
£17 million, 20 million euros.
20 million euros, that's 17 million pounds, which is a sizable fee for someone who's just sort of burst on the scene in Norway. Got a very good goal record. Had a quick look at his YouTube highlights reel. I think he looks more like a sort of a Hutchinson right wing replacement. Some Hutchinson traits from the very brief highlights reels that I've seen. Very, very skillful. Ball sticks to his feet. Got a good goal record. So, Ipswich are starting to move their way into the European market, as we've seen this summer. That'll be a very interesting signing. But hand on heart, I can't sit here and tell you I had heard of him before last night, or certainly know much about him as a player. So we'll try and find out a bit more on that one, certainly when we speak to Kieran post-match and in the days to come. Some more Jack Clark comments. Colin, Jack Clark needs to stand up and show us why we paid the transfer fee. Yeah, £15 million last summer. Ipswich got themselves in a bit of a pickle, didn't they, with that left wing role. They wanted Jaden Philogene. They couldn't get him because Villa had the matching rights clause. They went and got Jack Clark instead. Then Philogene became available in January, so they went and did that. Ended up sort of leaving Nathan Broadhead down the pecking order, and then I think regardless of what role Nathan Broadhead had played last season, Wrexham would have tugged at the heartstrings. But the fact that he had fairly limited game time in the Prem probably didn't help in terms of Kieran McKenna trying to persuade him to stay. So now Ipswich have got to try and find a solution, and maybe the solution might be Philogene on one flank, Jack Clark on the other. Philogene's another, let's be honest, that needs to start proving his transfer fee. Not easy to come to a team midway through the season, limited game time. Ipswich in the midst of a relegation battle and struggling at the time, so a bit early to judge Jaden Philogene, but wasn't completely sold on him at all at the back end of last season. But as I say, maybe back to the Championship, back in his favoured left side. Maybe that's just what he needs, and maybe Jack Clark going on the right will give him, as a few people have mentioned, the freedom to express himself and get going again. There's certainly two players that have been very, very good in the Championship, and hopefully that can prove to be the same again. Ronan, is Ayinde Irish or Nigerian? As my score app has a Nigerian flag. I'm going to double check, but I would imagine it's Nigerian descent, but I'm pretty certain that he is Irish. Check that while we're on the fly now. I'll come back to you. Played youth football in Cork. I think he's considered to be Irish on that front, but he's someone that's been involved in a few pre-seasons in a row now. I remember him playing in some of the early pre-season games against the likes of Needham and Felixstowe in previous years. Quite like the look of him. He's played sort of left and right, as I say, versatile attacking player. But let's be honest, the fact that Ipswich have two centre-backs on the bench today, they've got Ayinde on the bench today, no striker, speaks volumes of the lack of depth that Kieran McKenna feels Ipswich need to be bona fide top two title contenders this season, which is what most people have them pegged at. So we know there's still work to do in the transfer market. Broadhead and Hutchinson leave pretty big voids at the top end of the pitch. Midfield is looking pretty thin as well. Left back, do they want to do something there with the Townsend injury? We'll have to see, but it's going to be a busy last fortnight to the transfer window for Ipswich Town, that's for sure. Let's wrap up there. How significant is this game today? Feels big, doesn't it? Which sounds ridiculous to say. First home game of the season, second league game of the season, but it just feels like the performance against Birmingham wasn't great. The manager and the players admit that. Going out to Bromley, some real fans' favourites starting to leave, players pushing for exits. Still some frustrations in the transfer window for Kieran McKenna. You can hear that in his voice. I just feel a little bit of angst in the air amongst Ipswich fans at the moment. Haven't won a home league game, haven't got a point in a home league game this calendar year. Win today, and that quietens all that down and makes everybody feel good, and we start looking at the squad and going, do you know what, it's a good squad on paper and they'll get there. Lose today, and I could feel a sense of unease starting to rise. So sounds mad to say, but it does feel significant. Would a draw be okay? Wouldn't be the end of the world. I think Southampton are going to be right up there. They're actually my title picks. I couldn't quite bring myself to tip Ipswich. I looked through their team today. I'll run through that quickly. Bazunu in goal. Harwood Bellis, who was someone that was linked to several clubs. He's still there. Jack Stevens, Joshua Kwasi, young German centre-half. They've spent a bit of money on this summer. Chatting to a few of the Saints journos in the press room just now. They're impressed by him so far. Former Town loanee Ryan Fraser will be playing a right wing-back role. Former Ipswich Town Academy graduate Flynn Downs in midfield. Someone Ipswich have tried to sign in the last few windows. McKenna a big fan. I think that battle between him and Jack Taylor is going to be an interesting one today. Odds on both of them getting booked high. Matthias Fernandez in the team, someone who's been heavily linked with West Ham. Shay Charles as well is in the team. Wellington at left back, the Brazilian who I thought did well in the game at Portman Road back in February. Fernandez is one of those dual number 10s. Jay Robinson and then Adam Armstrong up front, someone who's scored goals at this level. They've got some good bench options, have Southampton. Brereton Diaz back from a loan spell away. Damien Downs, an American striker. Again, they spent a bit of money on in this summer. So, Ipswich could have done with a slightly kinder fixture list while they were getting their house in order at the start of this season. But they haven't. Opportunity knocks, I guess. We'll see how today goes. I'm fascinated to see how this one goes. Southampton, I think, are a less possession-based under new manager Will Steele. They're a back three, slightly more direct, but even so, this should be a more open, entertaining match than that scrappy battle at Birmingham last Friday that was pretty stop-start. Hoping for a good game, hoping for an Ipswich Town win. Follow it with us as always. The live blog is up and running. Subscribers can come and join me for that. And as always, you'll have Alex's Tailor the Game on the whistle. You'll have the match verdict tomorrow morning. Kieran McKenna's comments, all the other good stuff that we produce. Quick plug for the blog. For the for the subscription that we do at the moment, £6 for 6 months, £29 for a year. I don't think that's bad going at all. Take that while you can, because that offer is about to run out soon. Thanks for joining me, everyone. I'll see you on the other side.